All right, so here's the, I guess you would just call it the like outdoor set. Like it's not the cityscape or anything like that. It's just the beach or wherever you want to call it. This was made by my roommate a long time ago for one of his Godzilla movies that he did. This thing was the only part of this that I made, and this showed up in like the industrial scenes, so that's just there because whatever. But he made these things out of like little coffee stirrers and then spray painted them. All these rocks are just pieces of the foam, and just you might even be able to see the seams. Like it's stacked up, and then he just cut them away and started painting all these too. And it's the same thing with these rocks too, like the gray ones that we had as like either rubble or like I think these double as the asteroids in space too. But yeah, then he made all these little tanks and stuff out of various like chopsticks and toothpicks and paint and all kinds of stuff. And his base is just a piece of styrofoam that he like smeared glue all over, and then he actually went outside and got a bunch of dirt and just like spread it on there. And then these are just hobby shop trees with the little brown, like those bendable little tree trunk things that you can get, and then just put the green like foliage on them. Moving over here, we got some of the industrial sets from that stuff. These are all just paper towel rolls that I cut up and added to like little pieces of foam for like the bases. And then I'll put like straws on them for like chimneys, or these are solo cups, like the little ramekins that they give you like ketchup in at diners and restaurants and stuff. Some smoke is just, what do you call it? Like just cotton basically that I spray painted black. Another rock. This is a small part of like a destroyed building because we had several of these that were all just, rubble in the city. Yeah, just took a corner of a piece of foam, hollowed it out, and carved some windows in it, and there's that. Looked, pretty cool when it was in the just pile of garbage like that. These are the little power lines. I can't remember what he made these out of. This is another thing my roommate made. I want to say it came from like old incense sticks that he had, and he just cut them up and glued them together. So we had those. I think that's pretty much all the outdoor stuff. Let's move on to the city. So here's some of the city buildings we used. This is just a handful of them. Like there's a whole bunch down here, and they're all made of different materials and they look different, so we'll go over some of that. These are just those little like green foam looking things that you can get from like gardening sections. Like I think you're supposed to stick like the stems to plants in here or something. Like that's one of the things you can do with these. But the roommate just painted it silver and made it look like a building, so that's one of them. This one he actually carved out some of the windows. Like it's just two pieces of foam glued together, and then he like sculpted in some of the details, and like these are all holes in the windows, so like from a distance it actually looks, decent enough. I like this one actually a lot. This is one of the older ones that's just like the first trial. It's like made out of regular styrofoam, and then we just glued windows on it. It's decent. I mean, we put these kind of in the background mostly because they're the worst looking ones, I guess, out of the bunch. They're not terrible, but they're, you're not going to want to have this like right up front and center because whatever. This one, again, is that green, well, there's no green on it anymore, but it's that stuff I was just telling you about. And this would just cut out well, not on this side, but just cut out like a big piece of white paper, and I drew like a grid for like windows on it, and I like blacked out some of them because, let's face it, you're not going to have every single light on in the building. Even if Godzilla comes, I'm sure there's going to be some people in there that are still going to be thinking about the electric bill and turning the lights off. Here's one of the destroyed ones. Same technique as before, with just cutting it out and taking chunks out of it. Again, you could have it laying down, same thing. These are my personal favorites, and there were two of these. It's just the foam core, but it's hollow on the inside, and there's windows cut on two sides. That way, if you could take a colored light and put it in there, like, it would illuminate the entire thing. So, depending on what you wanted to do, you could put green or red or blue or whatever kind of light in there, or just a plain light. And that really lit up the shot. It made it look cool. I don't know how many buildings you would ever look at that would have all blue lights or all green, but for a stop motion animation like this, I thought it looked pretty cool. So that's basically all the buildings. Let's get into some of the other sets now. So here's the Oval Office. This, let's see, the floor is just a piece of that same insulation foam that I've pretty much been using for a lot of the other stuff. This rug is just a printout. I found like a pretty good picture on Google of just like the, Oval Office rug. Printed it out, cut it, and smeared glue on the back of it, and just slapped it down. And I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, convincing enough for what it needs to be. The desk, well, the computer here, the laptop is just a printout. Like I went to printmini.com, I think, and just printed this out. And it's basically a template. You just cut it out and, you know, glue it together. So there's that. The desk, I looked up a picture of like the desk in the Oval Office, and I just did my best with like, you know, little pieces of foam to like try and recreate it as decent as I could. And I painted it like brown with like some black wash details in there to get it, you know, kind of a weathered old look. I dig how it came out. I'll probably end up using this for some other stuff too. I did the same thing with the cabinets, but I didn't pay as much attention to the detail with them because these are just, you know, throwaway kind of side pieces. The wallpaper is just printed out. Like you can see that the whole, you know, let's show you this. The floor is actually cut away. So like I basically cut like a half circle across the entire backside of, you know, the entire display so that I could fit the cardboard in like that and glue, you know, the wallpaper to the cardboard like that and have it go. These curtains are basically just held in by like a chopstick. These, you know, sweet, highly detailed curtains. It's just a piece of like red cloth that my roommate had laying around. The flag is, I think this came with like an old Kurt Angle figure or something from wrestling, but this is just a chopstick that I stuck in a pencil sharpener, sharpened it up a little bit, and then put a hole in the floor over there. I don't know if you can see it, but just, yeah, rubber banded the flag to it. So there's that. Up here is the, just basically, just my phone, just a piece of cardboard that's holding like this window thing together. Like this is just like cardstock, white cardstock, and then I have it in a like a plastic frame almost that you get like autograph pictures in or whatever. I just put that in there, and obviously you'll have to shoot, you know, from like this angle or something to make it look like an actual room rather than having like the cardboard showing up on top and on the sides and everything. And then there's my favorite little thing about this is Hagar's picture with the girls from Hooters. Some sweet Photoshop I did there. Just took a picture from like Marvel vs. Capcom, Hagar, and put them in with Hooters girls. Because why not? And then there's this picture, which is literally a painting from the living room that I just took a picture of and scaled it down and put it on the White House wall. Matter of fact, I can show that to you. Here it is. This is the painting on the wall out in the living room. I've had this painting in several different apartments. Like the last 3 apartments I've lived in, I've had it, and I've put it on the wall. And I really don't know why, because I'm pretty sure I hate this painting. I definitely hate it. So this would be the interior of the mechs. Basically, I just covered, you know, a cardboard box with some construction paper, and I rearranged certain things depending on which, you know, mech you were looking at the inside of. Let's see what we're dealing with here. This is the chair I wound up making. It's basically, there was this thing I found at Toys R Us for like 50 cents, and it was some kind of like plastic pieces that you could put on like some giant like cyber ninja glove thing. So this is like the back of the like the hand piece, and then these are like individual finger pieces. That's my phone keeps going off, by the way. That's my friend Razor trying to say let's move to Sweden. So I'm cool with that. I mean, I've seen what the ladies look like over there. Anyway, this is just 2 pieces of foam stacked up, 2 of those little pieces in front, and then the main piece in the back. So you got some kind of like control chair. And this is just a little straw. I mean, the paint's chipping now, but a straw with a piece of foam and another small piece of the straw. Because everybody knows that's how you control a giant mech robot, is with a little joystick like that. And then I would put in like just random old computer pieces in the background, or just however I wanted the technology to look, depending on whose mech it was. Then I got these things. These are, well, I can show you exactly. These Dr. Dreadful Alien Slime Drink tubes from Toys R Us. It was $1. I wound up, I think, getting it for like 70 cents or something. And I know, before anybody asks, I didn't drink any of this garbage. Just, nah. But I got a couple more of these that I'm going to figure out what to do with. But I got a few of them. They come out looking like this. They're pretty good, you know, for little like sci-fi props or whatever. You can actually fit like G.I. Joe size figures like inside these, or like Marvel Universe, the 3 3/4 inch figures. They're kind of plain, but if you paint them up a little bit, you can make them look pretty nice. So this one, I pop the top off, I put a colored light in there, and then I would put it in the background, and that would be like what lit up the, you know, the whole chamber basically. So that's what I would use for the inside of the mech robots. that's pretty much all the main sets that we made for the Godzilla movie. I'm not going to go into the figures too much, unless people want to see me talk about the figures, but for the time being, I think I'll cut it off right here. Anything else anybody wants to know, feel free to drop me a line here or in the comments or whatever the case. Also, well, there is no also. I lied. That's all you get.
That's crispy.